morning,
Oh, good
everybody.
morning. Good morning. That always makes me so, gets me.
No, I
Oh,
always dance in the backstage. I'm moving and dancing. Do, do, do. It's a good song. So,
oh,
good morning,
hello.
Lupita. It's so lovely to see you. I feel like I haven't talked to you in a long time, but we are just so excited to be here this morning to bring to everybody our mission, which is bringing joy, positivity, and light to your day. And so, really starting off the day with an intention and paying attention to, our thoughts and what's going on. And so that's really why we decided to make this episode about a recap, to pause, to reflect. And not only for this episode, but for life, pausing and reflecting. So I'm Diana Londoño. I am a urologist in Los Angeles, and I'm the founder of physiciancoachsupport.com, which is a free and confidential platform for any physician that can go to and get support from a peer, one on one, and it's confidential. It is there really to help you with anything you are thinking about, struggling with, because we know burnout is real and it's affecting 60% of us, and more than 400 per year complete suicide. So we don't ever want to get to that point. We want to tell you that there's hope, there's support, and that you're not feeling alone. So Nupi, introduce yourself to everybody so they can get that glitter, that light in their eyes. So tell us about you.
Oh, you're such a honey. So, I am Dr. Nupi, the glitter practitioner, and I have another show every Monday at 8 o'clock British Standard Time, which is 12 noon Pacific Daylight Time. And I'm a GP, family physician, as well as being a transformation and spiritual life coach. And my whole passion is about helping people to realign their whole self health needs, be it patients, be it my clients, and also specifically working with physicians. I guess I know, as you do, Diana, what burnout feels like. And that was a real pivotal moment in my career. And that was 12, 13 years ago now. And it's really from that this deeper understanding of health really came from. And over the years, I've developed this, I've studied it more, and it's bringing healing and that aspect of humanity back into healthcare. When you're looking at the whole person or the client's needs and the root cause of their problems and issues, and I always say this, but it's tuning in from your heart and having that expanded awareness. And I could talk about this for hours because this is what I'm passionate about. So it's
But it's so
amazing to meet
needed.
you. It's amazing to have connected with you and also to share our passion and start this show, which is, yeah, it's great. It's gone really quickly, don't you think?
So fast, so fast. But it's so important. And you touched about that heart centered. And I think that's so needed in medicine today, to have that leadership, the leaders with a heart, and
Yeah,
not to plow through to get to some goal and forget that we are human, that we have basic needs. We need to rest, we need to eat, sleep,
yeah,
and do all these basic things as physicians.
yeah,
Because we show up really nowadays as providers and not as our true role, which is a healer,
yeah,
which is a teacher.
yeah.
We teach our patients about their body. We teach them about even the medicines we give them and what's going to happen to them. And then when we forget that, and then we're just having a transaction because it becomes
Yeah,
a transaction,
yeah,
you lose that healing magic when
yeah,
you are just present and you acknowledge, like you said, that whole body, that your head's attached to your bladder and your bladder's attached, to your toes. It's all related.
yeah,
So important whether we're treating patients or treating ourselves
yes,
or talking to colleagues. Like we really have to look at them as a whole and not just body parts. And
yes,
remember, like it's not that Cartesian, like the mind is not connected to the body mindset, but really we are all together and it affects our whole body. And I just
absolutely.
love like leading with a heart, leading with love. So, so important to reconnect, right? Like it's so,
Yeah,
so
yeah,
important.
yeah. And it's also, we teach, we guide, but we're also learning from each other, be it as colleagues, like from you, from friends, from our patients as well. And I think that's key. It's a two-way process. It's a transfer of energy.
Yes.
And I think it's when you, especially in healthcare, I guess, our drive is to help somebody. I mean, I came into medicine, I chose medicine as a career because I wanted to make a difference. And it sounds cheesy as anything, but it's the truth. And I think because of time constraints, because of the system, because of all these other factors that perhaps start chipping away at you and stop you from doing what it is you love the most, because there isn't enough time or there's not enough funding, blah, de, blah, it can really cause this disconnect. And I guess I think this is why it's so important for physicians, your side of the world, my side of the world, to openly talk about this, because I'm probably more passionate now than I ever have been about what I do and how. And if
Yeah.
by
Yeah.
sharing my story and if by sharing experience with other physicians helps them navigate maybe what they're going through, then job done as far as I'm concerned. I think it's really important to hear from people who have been through burnout and come out the other end and maintained the love and the passion for that career. I think that's very, very powerful actually for other people who are watching this.
Absolutely. I think the power of the story has been for millennia, right? The people sat around the campfire,
Yeah,
to really pass the stories of their ancestors, what happened, that big win and, when they were hunting, right back in the hunters and gatherers, but really the story of what happened to you, how did you come out of it, what did you learn from that, and really having a growth mindset of, yes, this was challenging, but what did I learn from that? And I think that's really the whole point of this, like just really sharing our story of how it affected us, me personally, very much physically, obviously emotionally, but it's affecting your whole family. And then all the patients that you're treating or not treating so well because you're just not going to be present. So people want to kind of push through it. People want to just, kind of win a medal to see who's standing last. But the reality is, you're not going to be left standing. You're going to collapse.
yeah,
And there's no medal or
yeah,
honor for destroying your soul, your health, for the sake of being the last one standing. Because
yeah,
again, you're not going to be standing. You're going to be with illness, with high blood pressure, with
yeah,
stroke, with like cancer, all these things that happen because you never took care of yourself, you never prioritize yourself, and then all these things manifest.
yeah, absolutely. And I think I was talking to a good friend who I connected with just, I think you know him very well, Dr. Michael Hirsch. I don't know if I'm
Mhm.
pronouncing his surname properly.
Fantastic. Yeah.
He's such a honey, he really is.
Yes.
But he wrote a really, really good article recently, and it was, there ain't no cavalry coming, essentially.
Hmm.
The only person who can change what's sort of how we respond is us. And absolutely, this is almost a permission slip, and this is what I say, that your needs matter. Full stop. You're a physician. You're in health. It's so important. Your needs are no less than anybody else's. You're not superhuman. So what makes you think you can keep pushing and keep pushing and keep pushing? It's impossible. And it's really taking ownership of your own needs, valuing them, knowing how to protect them, and really standing in that power because it's yours and you get to govern that. And I wouldn't have known any of this had burnout not happened, to be
Yeah,
honest. It's
absolutely.
not taught in med school, it's certainly not taught in junior doctor training. And I think that they are crucial to a developer, to somebody in med school now, as well as through the training years.
Absolutely. But I
I,
think we learned,
I think it's
even
so
if we
important.
learn that after training and you have that awareness, then you become an example for others, an example for colleagues and for trainees because they are seeing you prioritize yourself. A great example I can think of is one of my colleagues just had his paternity, and he took 3 months off for that. And I
Mm,
have never in all my years of medicine seen a resident, a trainee, an attending, anybody do this.
yeah,
And to me, this is so important. What an example to
yeah,
do that. Because, yes, we always think about women. Women also, half of the time in training, we don't even get maternity leave. We'll get 4 weeks and go back, which is absolutely, again, going back to the humanity in medicine. But this is not humane to leave your child in 4 weeks to go back. And so we gotta lead with love, like how you would lead to take care of your own children. How would you want your daughters
yeah,
to be taken care of if they were in training? You would want them to bond with their child. So to see this from somebody else, it really is, I need to give him kudos and inspiring for Dr. Rizzanicos who did this, because what an example for others.
yeah,
What an example to prioritize you, your children, and be there with them in those critical times when they're babies, to have that bonding experience. So I think it doesn't matter when you sort of wake up and realize your needs matter, you're important, but at some point you got to think about this.
yeah,
And I think that's why I really like this sort of episode, to pause, to reflect, like, where do we come from? Where are we? What are our goals? And to kind of recap, really, we had these fantastic, fantastic guests. And if you didn't get a chance to really, watch the episode, we'll put them in the show notes. But we really started with something that was really important to us and definitely has been transformative for me, which is when we talked to Dr. Tamara Beckford and we talked about gratitude.
yeah,
And I think that was just such a great episode to talk about the importance of how that can change your
yes,
biology, your like neuropsychoimmunology, really that big fancy word, how your nervous system, your thoughts, your psychology affects your body. And when you're in gratitude, stress cannot exist. It's just,
yeah,
impossible. So sometimes when people think, what can I do to sort of get out of it? What can I do to get out of the molasses of burn? And I think gratitude is that easy, free, great first step that anybody can do. What do you think?
yeah, absolutely, absolutely. And I think it's so difficult sometimes to really think when you're in the depths of despair, when things aren't going so well, what is it I'm grateful for? And it's stripping it down to the smallest things
Oh,
and
yes.
just appreciating that, because the big wide world is out there, and it's when you start opening your eyes and really seeing these are the little things that can really help fill your heart. And when you turn in remembering the things, what lights me up, what what am I grateful for that I can still do? And when you start changing that mindset, all of a sudden your your mind opens up. You become you're delving into a space of love. Essentially, it's that unconditional love starts to flow. It's a superpower, and that's with gratitude comes hope. With that, it's all linked with the biggies. It's unconditional love. It's the highest vibrational energy going, and
We,
transmute
I, I
transcend.
always think of even just the emoji, right? When you're saying like that
Yeah,
little prayer, like thank you. When we do that prayer, like thank you, it's like you almost like look up at the heavens. And it's not
yeah,
about religion, but it's just about, is there something greater, bigger, and really connecting to that, other source
yeah,
that really is gonna lift you, like literally lift you up of that molasses of those lower energies of overwhelm and despair and apathy and cynicism, which we see so much in
yeah,
medicine. We're just cynical because we're in these lower vibrations. So we
yes,
got to raise the vibration and really think gratitude.
yeah,
And when we do that, we are making new connections in the brain, that neuroplasticity, so that our brain can then just start focusing on that throughout the day.
yeah. And
So
that's the beauty. Oh, sorry.
no,
Yes,
no, you're gonna feel that love, like you said, you feel
yeah,
that love.
yeah.
So important. And so we really started with that because I thought that was
I
how we should.
really enjoyed it. Yeah, and that's how we met. So
Yes,
that was gorgeous, and
and
it was
that's how we met.
perfect.
So we're giving
Yeah,
thanks to Dr. Beckford for bringing us together because we met on the chat on her show. So when you are in a show, and put in comments. Just like today, tell us where you're tuning in
yeah.
from,
You never
and
know who you might meet.
Exactly. Who's like-minded? Who maybe has a good idea? Who can you jive with? So definitely put in the comments, where are you coming from? And, we really started with that because that was important. And then we moved to Dr. Neeraj Mehta, my good friend, who is the founder of Making Moves Universal. And we really talked about movement.
Yeah,
And that was also a great conversation about movement.
that was brilliant. That was really good fun. I really enjoyed having him on the show. Um, yeah, and the take homes really were just, it's not about the choreography, it's not about the steps, it's just allow your body to be in flow, be in flow, and just lose yourself in the music. And it's just, these are the smallest things that are free and you can do for yourself. And that's the beauty about this. Who was after Niraj? Who? I can't remember.
Yeah, Dr. Dana Coriel, who's
Oh,
a
of
founder.
course. That was
Yeah,
the retreat. Yes. Oh,
yeah,
she was inspiring.
yeah.
Wow. She
So,
said this.
founder of Sylvie Docs, which is
Yeah.
Doctors on Social Media,
She
a
was phenomenal.
platform that she founded for, where physicians can go and anybody in medical space, medical healthcare can go and find physicians who maybe, you're looking for an expert for your podcast, for an article, for them to be a speaker. And so you want to find the vetted physicians who are doing amazing things. And you can find them at Sylvie Docs. And you can also like get a link to their own website in their own space and learn more about them. So she really is, somebody that we support because she's a woman and she's a visionary and really a leader and, entrepreneurship and digital marketing and just really the power of co-marketing, how
Yeah.
we can co-market each other and really use our platforms to amplify other people that otherwise you may not have run into. So
Absolutely.
that was really powerful, that episode.
Yeah, I loved that one. And actually, straight after, guess what I did?
What did you do?
I signed up. I
You
subscribed.
did? Oh my gosh, I did not know that.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah, yeah. I could wait. Well, we've not spoken. It's been a funny one the last few weeks.
oh, that's amazing. I can't wait. So catch Dr. Nupi Aurora. So go to So Many Docs and look up her profile. She's going to build her profile and look it up so you can find her in this space. There's also a link to our podcast there, but there's many podcasts by physicians. There are many articles or courses. This is just a great place to feature your courses, your podcast, your articles. And so, definitely look it up there and really just learn and get inspired by other physicians doing things, whether inside or
Yes,
outside medicine.
yes,
And that's really what we want to bring to light is like, if you're feeling down, a great way to also get out of it, not just gratitude and movement, going with the flow, getting music to inspire you, is sometimes like rekindling that passion. That like, what did you used to like to do? Was it
yes,
like being a chef and cooking, or was it, what was your passion, music, anything? And when you get inspired, that's when you start looking forward to things and you get out of hopelessness with
yes,
inspiration.
yes. I mean, that's so important. And I think that's really key, actually, hope.
Hmm.
Hope itself is so, it's so important. And I think the platform in itself, it really brings together like-minded physicians, people who have, maybe stepped outside the normalities or the conventional way, and they are expanding what they're doing. They're tapping into different aspects of themselves. And I think it's just so inspiring for other people coming in to see, wow, is that really possible? Because you get so tunnel visioned.
Hmm.
It's just this. And actually, no, that's not how it can be. There's lots of opportunities. And I think it's also our skill sets. You forget. You think it's just seeing patients and in using your mind and brain clinically. I think it boils down to people, it boils down to communication, and so many transferable skills to other aspects of life actually. And you don't always think of it like that. I know I didn't. A few years back
Yeah, we just have
I
that tunnel
didn't.
vision.
Yeah, yeah. And that's I think that's brilliant.
Yeah, I think you really touched on the part that I think is really important to also just to even get out of burnout is that creativity.
Yeah.
When you get creative, then you like have something to look forward to, like the product, what you're gonna, invent, create, do. And other people maybe see your creation, they're like, wow, that's amazing. Like, let's get together, let's chat. And it brings connection, it brings people together when they
Yeah,
see you, whether producing a podcast, painting, whatever you're creating. Other people get inspired from that.
yeah,
And that's how it just shows how we're all interconnected, how even somebody you don't know, that when you see something they've done, you're like, oh, that's interesting, that's cool. Like, if she did it, I could do it. So
yeah,
it really gives other people permission to just get out there. And I think, that's just another of the perks of like seeing this, where physicians are not just doing their 8 to 5 or whatever time they're doing, and they can do so many things with the skills that got us into medicine, and do anything else you like with
yeah,
those skills.
yeah. And talking about creativity, I mean, I love you do your Instagram reels. They're brilliant. They're so cool. So much thought goes into them, and I love the outfits. I love the music. It's amazing. It's just, and you can see you absolutely love doing it, and it's fabulous.
Yeah, it's definitely going back to probably, Dr. Med, like movement, right? How do you
Yeah,
relieve that pent up either excitement
yeah,
or frustration? And I definitely have had all those emotions and when I'm doing a reel, and either I'm frustrated or I'm just so excited, I need to move and shake that energy. And it's just silly. It definitely has good messages, but it's just a silly way to be creative, to have fun, and just to have an outlet. And like movement, like of the body, if you want to just start there, it's so important to release all these energies,
yeah,
so they don't stay. Even like the excitement, which you would think is a positive one, quote unquote, you don't want to like keep it. You're going to be bouncing off the wall.
yeah, yeah,
You want to
absolutely.
release it with movement, with like dancing.
Yeah,
And you move the body. What's the magical part about it? Then everything else moves. The thoughts, the ideas, the creation. It all goes together because we are connected, our
yeah,
brain to our body. So yeah, the Instagram, I just got on it because I thought it'd be fun, and it really has been just a creative outlet to do. But I also like writing, and writing for anybody, it's a great way, whether you publish or not. You don't ever have to publish anything, but to get those thoughts down on paper, it's so important to release, whether it's anger, frustration, disappointment, grief, anything, happiness. Write them down, and you'll see that emotional charge just fizzles and disappears, and you feel lighter.
yeah, definitely. And I think for me, singing, I love doing
Mhm.
my singing. It's you're tapping in and you're bearing your soul. Actually, that's how
Mhm.
it feels
Great, sing
sometimes, and
it.
it's I love it. And I
Beautiful.
think, yeah, I look forward to doing it and then sort of tying it in with different messages,
Mhm.
etc. And then I love making my wind chime shells and drawing, and it's having that quiet time almost as well for yourself. And that's again what I teach on the F list. But yeah, if you
I
think
agree.
about it, so think about your little girls. They love playing with glitter, they love their arts and crafts and all of that stuff. And that kind of sees you through as a child and then a little bit older. Then all of a sudden, you kind of stop doing it as an adult. And I'm like, why? Let's rediscover the things that we used to love doing as children. And that's how I got back into painting, paint by numbers, and also drawing. And that's what I sort of reverted back into post burnout. And oh, I just love it. You just get lost.
Yeah, I
And
mean,
it's
it really is practicing that. Actually, this weekend I did, like those coloring books for adults, and my daughter,
yeah, yeah. I
yeah,
love
well,
it.
listen, we did, she did a beautiful one, I did one too, and it's with these watercolor pencils, which is
Yes.
pencil, and then you do the water over it, and they're
Yeah,
beautiful. And why does that help with stress? Because you're doing like a mindfulness
yeah,
practice, you're doing a meditation, which means you're paying attention to like every little thing you have to color in, and
yeah,
you're not thinking about, oh, I didn't do the laundry, oh, I have to do this, oh, I didn't pick up my daughter and we forgot about her today, whatever it is. You're just present in that moment.
hmm,
When you practice that awareness, that mindfulness, then there cannot be stress because
yeah,
you're not thinking about yesterday, you're not thinking about tomorrow that hasn't happened, you're present.
Yeah.
And you're being creative. You're like, oh, you're putting these colors together. You get sort of excited. You feel calmer. You're really
Yeah.
tapping to slowing down that movie. So absolutely painting, like you do your drawings. They're beautiful drawings of the eyes that you show me. They're absolutely beautiful.
Oh,
Tapping into that. So important to schedule that time to do those things.
yeah.
It really has to be scheduled. It has to be part of what you do.
Yeah. I say to patients and clients, make an appointment with yourself, like literally physically put it in your calendar, put it in your phone, goes off as an alarm. And also, it's what you can do with other people. Again, you can bring this into connection. I I don't know if you know about deco patching. It's like um, gluing, basically. It's like tissue paper, and it's different colors, and you can create. Have I got anything? I'll show you another time. But it's yeah, and it's beautiful. And I remember doing it with the kids,
It's
and
fun.
we
I
would
have
sit.
one. I have a jar with my
Yeah,
daughter. We did a
yeah,
rainbow one. It's beautiful.
yeah. And the beautiful thing is this, because you're doing your face is down like this, and you're doing.
Mhm.
We've had the best conversations, about the little gossip things about this girl was not being so nice and this, that, the other, because there's no eye contact per se. You're just talking, and then it all starts to flow. And
Mhm.
it's like, oh, yeah, so tell me more about that. Really? Oh my God, yeah. And you just keep doing this, and it opens up more conversation. The
Yeah.
chats we've had over over deco patching and gluing have just been, oh, adorable. I love it.
But it's
Makes
important. It's about connection, and that's so important. Connecting and just kind of keeping those guards down. So
Yes,
important, especially with the kids when sometimes they don't want to tell you. But when you get the
yes,
kind of quiet, flowing moments of creation, maybe you're reading a book or not, or have a quiet time before bedtime. That's when they all start telling you all the things that
yeah,
they
yeah,
didn't tell you throughout the day about
yeah,
who did what and what did she say and what happened and
yeah.
who was nice and who wasn't. So important to that time to reconnect. And
That's so cute. I know.
and like our last episode, we really want to highlight the importance. This one we kind of changed. We started getting a little bit into more of the medical part, but it was so important to bring back, Dr. Victoria Sorley Aguilar, because I had her on my own physician coach support webinar for an hour. It was
Yes.
so popular that people wanted to know more. People wanted to have her back, and so we brought her back. And
Yeah.
we really talked
She's
about
so amazing. Yeah.
oh,
I love her.
and just the importance of the transition. And
Yeah.
I just really love this episode.
Yeah. It's cool. So tell me, Diana, how do you think, what can you see happening for the next 5 or 6 weeks?
Well, we have our lineup of speakers, and they are just, our guest speakers are coming on the podcast, and it's really just going to be kaboom supernova. Just all these great minds sharing their story. Really, it's about again connecting. How do we start our day with an intention, a positivity, a light for something to look forward to? And so I'm excited. We have the whole kind of years of 2023 all set up. So
Yeah.
we have some great speakers and just great people, really. And so I look forward to sharing that with you guys.
So,
And follow us on Tuesday, 7:30 every other Tuesday for the live stream. You could always watch it on the replay on my YouTube channel, Diana Londoño, or on Spotify if you want the audio, and rate it, share it with your friends and family. And remember, if you are a physician or know somebody that is, going down the burnout route and you are worried about, reactive, angry, apathetic, send them over to physiciancoachsupport.com, free and confidential, and really get that glitter, that light back in them, just like you do, Nupi, and tell them how to find you so that anybody that wants to work one on one, longer term, to get that real transformation and longer one on one coaching, how can they find you?
so you can find me on LinkedIn. I'm doing my Glitter Practitioner show live with the Glitter Practitioner every Monday, which is at 8 o'clock my time, and that's noon Pacific Daylight Time. And all my details, you'll find me on LinkedIn mainly, but you'll also find me on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, all under the Glitter Practitioner. And my coaching program is a 12-week one-to-one with myself course, essentially, and it's find your fizz and flourish. And it really truly is realigning your whole self-health needs, really looking into your passions, what light you up, and rebalancing those so that you really are living and breathing what it is you really deserve, which is a life full of joy and light and positivity and glitter,
And I
basically.
just love that you have,
Finding.
one-on-one. So
Yeah.
so many of the coaching is group, and there's a lot of value in that as well. But
Yeah.
to have that one-on-one time with
Yeah.
you and
Yeah.
accountability, and really work through all these things week by week,
Yes.
and really have an accountability person
Yes.
to do that. Really, really helpful. And I've spent a lot of money in coaching myself, and it is just an investment in you, and it's so important to invest in yourself because you're worth it. You are
Yes.
worthy, you're valuable, you deserve it.
Yeah.
So it's just so amazing today to end today with those words. And then we will see you in 2 weeks from now on Tuesday at 7:30. Check out our pages for the upcoming events and what's coming.
Thanks for watching.
Bye.
Bye.